Hello there. Today we'll finally be taking a look at set 75342, the Republic fighter tank. And I'm really excited to finally build this set as it nearly completes my collection of 2020 modelled clone troopers. Now, this set didn't come out in 2020. What I mean by 2020 clone troopers is the new type of phase 2 clone troopers that we got starting all the way back in 2020 with the first 501st battle pack. Now, the only clone trooper I will be missing from my collection after building this will be the 212th Airborne Trooper. But as there is a rumoured set for next year which comes with plenty of droids, hopefully to go with the ATTE we'll get a 212th battle pack that will not only have a plethora of droids from that scene just before Order 66 is executed, but hopefully it will come with a 212th Airborne Trooper that we've only seen in General Grievous' ship, which was not a great set, and that is why I don't have any in my collection. But without further ado, I'm excited to see Mace with arm printing and the new 187th Clone Legion, which I do believe outside of this has only appeared in a Hasbro toy. So this isn't even Legends clones here, but they're clones that were released as a Hasbro toy just to accompany Mace. And it's amazing that LEGO have released a set based on this. It's great to see more clones, and hopefully we can see more variants in the future. Now this is quite a chunky book. Look at all the pages. If I can find the page number, 81 pages. Of course, not all of them instructions, but most of them. And I'll not be using this. As you can see on screen in the top left, I've got the electronic instructions, so we can put this aside and begin building. Now, whilst I'm building these droid minifigures, I would like to talk a bit about the rumour of the battle pack that could be coming next year. Now, this is just a rumour, so do take everything with a pinch of salt. However, the rumour is at the minute that we will be getting 2 crab droids, I think it is, 2 B1 battle droids, and 2 B2 battle droids or rocket troopers, which could be a new mould. I'll assume they have to go with a new mould after all this time. We get 2 spare arms in this set, which is really nice for my other droids. We'll also be getting 4 clone troopers and some sort of MIDI scale build, which does make sense. It's back at the price tag of about £30, which is where the first 501st battle pack is. So if you know how much that costs in your region, you can do the math and calculate how much this new one is, as it most likely will be the same. And I'm really interested to see which legion of clones this would be, as any legion works, they're against battle droids. But I'm really hoping for more 212 clones, especially the return of the Airborne Trooper. But let me know what clone legion you'd like it to be down below. Perhaps one that we haven't seen so recently or is in a comic, or even perhaps one from the Bad Batch, as I know many people would love to get a clone such as Howitzer. And no, we've only seen them in the Bad Batch. They are clones, so they were active when the battle droids posed a bigger threat than they do at the time of the Empire. And yeah, let me know which clone you want. Now we've got to our first sticker, only 9 steps in. It is a Republic logo on a 2x6 tile, and it would have been nicer to perhaps got a 2x2 with it printed on, as we're seeing this logo on so many ships, and there's so many ships we could see it on in the future. I'd much prefer a printed tile that they could just change the colour of the brick for than a sticker. And I know LEGO are trying to steer clear of stickers and printed pieces in general, as they do tend to taint a brick, and some people, once a sticker or printed piece has been applied to the brick, no longer see it as a brick and rather that specific element. But I think especially when it comes to Star Wars and more specifically Clone Wars sets, they can get away with printing these. And even these stickers here, I'm not sure what colour piece they'll end up going on, but no doubt it will be a white tile, And is there really a point in getting these little nuts and bolts printed onto a tile? Well, I guess you'll have to wait around and find out when we get to them stickers. As you can see, it's not a terrible job. I'm never really a big fan of stickers, but I feel like I've done pretty well there. And the colours do match quite similarly. I'm not sure if the camera will pick up on the subtle change of colour, but as you can see, you can't really see where the sticker ends and starts unless you truly focus on the sticker. And it's not like they could have brick built this logo. So this sticker doesn't bother me as much. Now, another thing you'll have to look out for if you do want to pick up this set, if it's still in any of the stores near you, is that this set did come out, I think, last year, if not even earlier than that. So it will be one of the sets that will retire by the end of this year. I can't say that with complete certainty, as I don't know how Lego work on the inside, and even if we did look at other patterns and try to follow them, all the sets that are released are completely new, so they can retire at any time. And with how long this one's been on shelves, I can predict that this will be one of the next to go, especially after everyone's bought it in the sales just before Christmas. You won't be seeing this set in the new year. So if this is a set that interests you, or perhaps you want to pick it up for the clones, as we'll likely never see this Clone Legion again in Lego form unless they decide to go back and work it into Star Wars. But chances are this will be the only time it pops up in Lego form. And this set is going to be really expensive to collectors down the line, as anyone who starts collecting now will not have a chance to pick up this set after it goes out of stock. I think if you don't mind about the Clone Troopers or about Mace Windu's arm printing, this can just as easily be a set that you miss out on, because after all, we get so many Clone Wars sets. There are plenty of other Clone Legions to build your Republic army, and of course Mace Windu only has his arm printing in the Clone Wars. Well, it's not arm printing, it's his animation style. But if you're not fussed about the minifigures and don't exactly want to fight a tank, I wouldn't recommend getting this set to part out, especially when there are so many better sets on the market. And if you do want to know about all the other clones you can make with the 2 new battle packs, do check out my video where I compare the 501st battle pack to the 332nd, as I do talk about mixing them up and creating your own custom armies, which might be preferred to this set, as you only get 2 regular helmeted phase 2 troopers, compared to paying roughly the same for both of them sets and getting a total of 8, which is definitely where you want to be looking to build your army. Now, whilst I already have put the stickers on one side, I will be leaving them off this side for now, just so once this is built, we can compare what it looks like with and without the stickers. But don't worry, I'll apply the stickers right at the end so you can see what the whole model looks like, all stickered up. So be sure not to miss that if you do want to apply your stickers. Now, taking a quick look at Mace Windu, there will be a more in-depth look at the end once the model's built, but the arm printing does look really nice on Windu, and his frosted saber, as you can see, is a new piece, and Lego have started releasing these frosted sabers in sets rather than the old ones, which are more like this red piece here, and they do look very nice and have this cool new look to them. compared to the old ones, such as the one of this Yoda here. Now, early in the week I had reviewed the new and old Yoda Starfighter and the Tennu Temple. If you want to look at either of them, I do encourage you to check them out, as there's some differences on the Yoda Starfighter you might not spot by looking at them. And of course, for Tennu Temple, I had to make a custom nubs, as you can see just at the top there. If you want to know anything about either set, I'll leave the videos in the description. But these sabers are definitely a lot cooler to look at than the others. You can see it's more of a translucent piece, whereas the frosted gives more of a saber effect. So it would definitely be interesting to collect more of them. And see on the screen that the clones do use the clone trooper heads, and that is the case for all 3 of our clones here in today's set. As you can see, 1, 2, 3 clone trooper heads, which is a little bit of a shame, as it would have been nice to have seen different expressions at least on them. However, we also get some legs with a nice printed karma on, which I know they don't want to do any of the material karmas and shoulder pieces anymore, but it would be nice to see some of the plastic ones returning, like from one of the first battle packs, which is nearly 15 years old. But it'd just be a nice addition, which wouldn't need any of the material pieces, but just a nice plastic karma to put over the legs, just like a skirt piece or any of the similar pieces for the other waves, and would just make a fine addition to already great looking clone trooper minifigures. And as for the heads, I know they are the same expression, but they've always been the same expression, be it angry clone trooper face or the Clone Wars variant. So you can of course always put your own heads underneath. However, as they are the darker flesh or the nougat looking heads, it does make it harder, as I personally don't have anywhere near as much of these colour heads as I do of the usual lighter flesh tone that LEGO seems to give a load of minifigures. Well, because it matches them in person, I guess. But it does make it a bit more difficult to customise the faces of the clones, and means that, like for the custom Boba Fett, I have to steal Cody's face, which means currently all my clones have the same head, but Cody's was released with a different face. And before I get back to building this set, just want to take a second and look at these massive slope pieces. Now, this would have been a real pain to have built with smaller slopes, and they wouldn't have got the angle they wanted, but that is one giant slope. Again, another sticker that I don't think we really needed. As you can see, the only real addition to the piece it's given is this green line here, which, while it might make it a bit more accurate, I feel is one of the smaller details that LEGO perhaps could have done without, and at least I wouldn't have been too fussed if they didn't include it. However, I suppose anyone that doesn't want it can just put aside the sticker sheet, and even if you wanted a quick photo with all the stickers on, you can always pull them off afterwards and discard of them. I'm not quite sure if the stickers are recyclable, but I'd assume not. And have a more pure LEGO fighter tank, I suppose. And personally, I don't think it would look any worse, but I guess we can wait to the end to find out. Interesting to see this sort of build in a LEGO Star Wars set, as something like this I would associate with more an icon set or one of the modular buildings, but it's really great that they're including, it's not exactly a complex build, but it's more complex than perhaps putting one of the hinge pieces that means you can't access the interior, and this fits snugly on the back just like so, and means that when you open up the hatch you can have a full interior to play around with, and perhaps put a clone gunner or a member of the 187th Clone Legion. one of the pieces with, of course, the most stickers on. If you can see on the screen, there are 3 stickers just on this one cockpit piece. And again, you don't need to put any of the stickers on, especially on this piece, as it is already a white piece and you're really just adding the stickers for the nice effect of these nuts and bolts. And as you can see, the stickers don't exactly stretch over the whole piece themselves, and as I've tried to line up this corner, it looks like it's come very short. So I am going to do the same the other side to make it symmetrical at least. And once again, it falls short. Maybe it's a bit straighter than this side, but I'm not too fussed with the stickers. I'm sorry if that annoys you. I just have to display it from the other side. And we're also adding these skeleton arms to the hinge here, which does mean that it'll be a bit easier to clip it on and off, as rather than just having one clip holding the pair together, these arms give it a bit more maneuverability and mean that it fits in very nicely where it's supposed to go. And it is being held by the 2x1 bracket plates, which does mean there is a little gap, so perhaps you could remove them if you want it to sit perfectly flush with the model. But the arms do mean you can move it up and down a bit, and perhaps if you applied a bit of pressure to it, you could get it to slot down just before. However, again, I'm not that fast, and I just wish we didn't have so many stickers. Now, the fact that LEGO have included wheels on this fighter tank might seem a little strange at first. However, it is still a kid's toy and is still a plaything, not necessarily for kids, as I'm sure we're all getting just as much fun from these. But there are wheels so that the tank does glide along, and it does work pretty smoothly, especially on hard and softer surfaces, just such as carpets, and does mean that the tank does have that extra play feature, as well as all the openings that you've seen me piece together so far on this set, including a little ramp at the back there, which does come all the way through to the front of the model, and is just really thoughtful of LEGO, especially as their aim is most likely to make it as fun for young children as they can. This is probably one of the stickers that they couldn't really have avoided. However, in saying that, they could have just as easily given us a 1x3 plate in this darker red colour, perhaps a 1x1 in white, and a 1x2 grille that does match this green colour. I do wonder how many of these stickers are actually needed, and perhaps this will be a modification I look at making in the future. And of course, no LEGO Star Wars set is complete without these missiles, so let's lock them in and take a look at the set. So overall, the fighter tank does not look like it is a bad design, and that's because it really isn't. It is a nice little tank, and I guess the top is a bit difficult to open if I don't take my eye out first. Please give me a second. But being very careful with the stud shooters this time, as holding near them can set them off. And that does go for any sets, which is why it says not to point them at your eyes. But if we push the clones to the side for now, the fighter tank does have a cool little interior, and I suppose to get to the top you have to open this back and just push it up with your finger, at least until you can grab it from the top. And it does look like you could probably fit a small speeder in there if you really wanted to. There's no speeder build with this set, which is a shame as they could have included one. However, you can fit 2 clone troopers in there, perhaps more if you tried. It's a bit of a struggle to fit the second one, but the first one sits right at the front, just down here, and perhaps the second one we can lay down in the back. If you didn't want this second clone rattling around inside the tank, you can pin his legs down just there onto the studs. That did not sound right at all, but closing it up, you can get the specialist just in the top here. Now, I'm not taking the weapons off of these clone troopers as they don't have to be removed. And if you close this top here, you can see there's still a gap up the side just at that front. But the 3 clone troopers are in the vehicle and it's ready to go to war against the Separatists. We do also have a nice Mace Windu fig who can stand on the front of the tank because, of course, he wouldn't be hiding. And we do get 2 droids, which is nice, but I would love to see a more droid-centered battle pack in the new year because I'm sure they can give us many more droids than the 4 clones we get. And we do have a few more spare pieces than the first bag. See, in the first bag, we got the white 1x1 cheese slope and the 2 droid arms, which you can just see in the corner. And with the second bag, we seem to get a few more. I'm pretty sure this is not meant to be a spare piece. Okay, and I can see just exactly where I've missed it. On the back here, there should be this piece just in the center of that middle white. And it's not exactly holding on any bricks, so this must be part of the design, which is really cool that they've cottoned on, as the backs of a lot of Star Wars ships tend to look a bit ugly. Especially if any of you have seen the back of the new T6 Jedi shuttle that comes out based on the Ahsoka show. There's absolutely no red to be seen, and it's all just grey plates, and it doesn't look very appealing. However, now I've finally finished the tank, and it is a really cool build. Perhaps I should point these away, especially with my tendency to fire them. It is definitely going to make a fine addition to my collection of clones and droids alike. It's a shame we only got 2 regular B1s. Fingers crossed for them B2s in the new year. And the fact that LEGO thought about adding wheels so it rolls like the tank actually hovers in universe is really cool. Again, it doesn't appear to be hovering much as it is half a stud off the table right now. However, you can tell that it's not sat flat and it won't scratch up any furniture that it is rolling upon. So that's what I thought of the fighter tank. If you do want to pick it up, be sure to be quick as it is likely to retire this year. Perhaps I'll do a video on other sets retiring so you can pick them up just in time for Christmas. And don't forget to let me know what other Clone Legions you want to see in the new year. May the Force be with you always.